let's start this up. So, we're going to be doing something a little different, a little off the cuff, a little strange, a little interesting. We're going to be doing a live YouTube video. I'm going to be taking this shit because I'm lazy and putting it on YouTube. Also, I don't know, have my encoding shit set for my recording, and I don't really know how I need to change it because I have all my shit set up only for streaming. Didn't know I'd be doing any recording with OBS. Whatever. I'll download the VOD later and I'll edit it. Doesn't matter to me. We're going to be talking today about our lovely Chinese healer girl, Sage. The one who on Twitter is being, as everyone's kind of losing their shit. They're just like, oh man, Sage is dead. Nerf her so hard. Sage dead, Sage dead, Sage dead. Oh, she's shit. She's useless now. She's garbage. And I'm sitting here, somebody who's fundamentally obsessed with this game. I am both have a problem. I love it. And I spend a lot of time researching, comparing numbers, taking time, practicing, learning, theory crafting. Even though I'm not that great. I'm high plat. I bounce around in plat. I've hit diamond quite a few times, but I'm slowly climbing up there and I'm improving every day because I take the time to do that kind of stuff. I can feel so we're going to talk about how Sage is just not dead. And I'm right about that. Fuck you. Fight me. Okay? She's not dead. Let's turn our cheats on. Let's get these cheats going. Let's end the phase. Pause the timer. My ultimate is turn all of our shit on. We got our biz. That's all we really need. Whee. So, we're going to talk a little bit about how they nerfed Sage. So, they made it so Sage here, her self-heal, her left click on her heal, or sorry, her targeted heal, it happens now at 60 health over 5 seconds. It was originally 100 health over 5 seconds. And now her right click, her self-heal, is 60 health over 10 seconds. That's a massive nerf to her heal, like substantial nerf to her heal. And her wall now has a fortify mechanic. The way her fortify mechanic works is her wall is placed at 400 HP when it normally instantly had 800. But it still gets to 800 just after 3 seconds. It'll then jump up to 800. I don't know if it takes the full 3 seconds and it scales up, or it just, after 3 seconds, it instantly jumps. Now, I'm not too sure about that. I don't think it's like an instant. So, I don't know. We'll see. We can test that here. But her slow also had another nerf. So, her slow basically is, I think, 30% smaller. So, you can see, yeah, it used to cover basically this entire area. So, it was a pretty big nerf. But let's be honest here. We got to be honest with ourselves. How many games have you guys gone into where your last pick and you don't play Sage and you're just either flamed or someone at least asks you, hey, you're going to pick Sage? Hey, maybe you should pick Sage. Or if you hover a different character, whoa, maybe you should go Sage. That says something. That says that a character is almost fundamentally required and everyone accepts that they are needed because they feel like she is the dedicated healer. Well, realistically, sorry to tell you guys this, Sage is not the dedicated healer. She's the only one that has a targeted heal for another human. She's not the dedicated healer. What is she classified as? She's classified as a sentinel. Same as Killjoy. Same as Cypher. She's not the dedicated healer. There's no healer class. She just happens to fit that archetype that everyone thinks she is. So, that's how everyone treats her. She's not. She is a stalling character just like everyone else. She's not a healer. So, having her have such a massively high value heal like this, I could literally just be like, oh, there's someone over there. Drop the heal there, like someone who's playing aggressively. I can heal my buddy who's in vents without them, either of us breaking and having line of sight of mid. I can take incredibly advantageous or disadvantageous situations and turn them with very, very minimal risk and very, very minimal skill. She's incredible. That's going to be the topic for today. Is super high value for super low skill. It's nigh impossible to fuck up Sage. Look how easy this wall is to use. I can't really fuck it up. If I do this, No, yeah, it's instant. It's definitely instant. If I use this wall, I may have fucked it up, but it still has value. It forces them to take a weird angle to get up here and peek at a really close angle when my guy here in vents is literally just going to drop them. It's still value, and I'm safe the whole time doing it. It also still gives me an off angle to peek on that no other character has. She has so much value with this wall, and she's so safe doing it. Her slow. They break this. Say she does get the perfect wall. Let's clear this out. Say she does get the perfect wall, and they break a chunk of it. And say they do it immediately. Oh no, they're going to come running through. Low effort. They are slowed to a crawl with that slow. And they're loud if they try to go fast. It's info. It's effective. It's super easy and almost impossible to fuck up. If I go, ugh. Like, it still slows it. Like, you can't fuck it up. It's impossible to fuck that shit up. It's so easy. And she's so safe doing it. That's another problem. It's just a box of just ticking all the boxes of issues. That's why she has a 90% pick rate. You can check the right statistics from this. Go check the recent patch notes. Go take a look-see. Go look at the pinned #1 super big comment from a Riot senior game designer. I think it's Raiku. He states that she has a 90% pick rate and a 54% win rate. Now, if those numbers don't say something to you, go get your brain checked. Because they say something to me. They say to me that everyone picks her because it has a higher chance of you winning. You just get a higher % chance of winning by having her on your team. That's a problem, especially when they're trying to build a fundamentally game that's just built around skill being the most important thing. It may not just be gunplay skill, it's ability skill. But hers is low skill and high value. Phoenix's, let's look at the other characters' signature abilities, right? We're going to look at the other ones. So, for example, Phoenix's Molly, I can whiff that. It's not very big, and I lose the heal, and I lose the area denial, and I don't get any damage. I can whiff that super hard. It's very hard to throw that and get a good angle, especially because it has the drop mechanic where it goes after a certain amount of distance and then falls down instantly, so you can't even get really crazy lineups with it. And Sage's point-and-click signature, she still is the strongest. It's point-and-click. I just go, ha-ha, click, and I can't miss it unless I'm super brain-dead and I, like, right-click instead of left-click. But at that point, skill's not what's on the table. It's your brain that's on the table. So what they did was they put her more in line. So things like Phoenix and Reyna, who have to take risks and lose things to get their heal, lose positioning, have to get a kill, use up one of their offensive abilities in order to heal. And Reyna's is super dangerous. She heals more, but it's super dangerous to use, especially if you're at high elo. You get that heal. Almost no high elo players playing Reyna you will ever see use the heal, ever. They never do it. They almost always get the kill. Unless it's a 1v1 they know and they're lurking and they can get the heal, they'll just take the invincibility and dip the fuck out because they'll die otherwise. They will get refragged. It's just they use it for anti-refrag, and that's what they use all the charges for. Phoenix, he's got to use it. He loses an offensive ability when he uses it to heal, and he gets way less healing. So now it's on par with Phoenix. She is on par, but it's safer. It's easier to use than Phoenix's. So that's the trade-off. It heals the same as his. He does lose out on that, but hers, it's slow to use on herself, and it's safe. It's still stronger than his. Still strong, but there's no dedicated healer role. Her primary goal is to stall, and she's still incredible at that. Who cares if they break this instantly? That's still hard to break. That's still super fucking hard to break. It uses half a clip to break it, but that's still time. Gives time for rotates. Still gives you time to put your slow, and you're still getting the job done. She's still doing the same job she always did. Yeah, maybe her heal nerf might have been a little too hard, but honestly, I don't think it was that bad. I'm fine with it. I have no issues with it. And mind you, I'm not a Sage main. I don't play a lot of Sage, but I have a Sage in my team every day. Every game I play, there's a Sage on my team, save for a couple games. And the games that I've been playing recently without her having her full kit, I still have my friends who are Sage mains. They're like, do it. Play Sage. They're not really finding a problem with it. They were a little jarred at the initial statistics and the data when seeing it on paper, but when you play it, not that big a deal. They're like, she's not ridiculous anymore. And I'm like, yeah. You start to see where I'm getting at. She's not ridiculous. She's just, in line with the other heroes. Could they tune some things back up? Sure. That might be good, but it's a fickle line before she gets OP again. She was busted. She was super strong, and that's not good for competitive integrity. Having the ability to just safely stop anyone from doing anything, having aggressive angles, and super, super, super high info, super high amounts of stall. Like, if you hear them coming mid, you can literally pop. That's still, look how much of that covers. That was nerfed. You're still going to slow those guys. You just have to be more deliberate with your throws, and you gotta use a little bit more skill with them. You can't just be like, and that's going to be good enough. Like, you can't no effort throw these things like you're just like hucking something over your shoulder. You got to have a little bit of purpose, thought, and aim, because that's what this game is. It's high skill. That's what they try to do. And you know what? They've done a good job. I don't think Sage's nerves were too bad. Based off of my reasoning, I think she's pretty good. And another silly mechanic was this. You wall and you res. Big problem, because res is one of the most powerful abilities in the game, and you just expend 400 credits to get a free res. You drop the person and they're safe. It's super easy. Then you just break the wall yourself and you are back. Think about the amount of effort, damage you take, positions you lose, possible deaths you might have to get a kill, and then just like how Mercy did in Overwatch, all this effort and fuck-ups the enemy makes, advantages you take, and effort you put forward, and skill you put forward, and trades that you take favorably in your position to be reversed by low skill, high value. She just easy wall, easy res. After I just took the time to clear this whole front, to kill the dude in here, to come here, to kill someone here, and she walls me off, and she hucks a slow over it, and drops the res. She did not risk her life in the slightest. She's got a full health teammate again. All that work basically for naught. Like, yeah, we gained a lot of position. We wasted her res that she could have used at a different time, but it wasn't really a race. She got the value out of it. You were back alive, and the numbers advantage has now been lost. And all this work and ground you've gained is a massive step back that we just used to have. And that's what she's managed to do that at very minimal effort. And that's the problem. And that's why we'll harp on low effort, high value. And that's why I think Sage honestly deserved those nerfs. And she can still slow like everywhere. Like, this is a huge choke. Who's going through that? It still blocks it. Didn't need to be any bigger. Still slows that. Still slows the entirety of here. Still slows the entirety of there. It didn't. You can still slow literally everything. It's no different. It's just not stupid anymore. It's controlled. It's honestly better now, because you're less likely to accidentally slow your teammates. You can slow literally everything. It's just more precise. You can literally do things like this now. Well, if you don't miss it. I ain't a Sage main. Like, you can still look at that. It still covers the entire area. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. That much of a slow. And you know how slow you move in this. Like, look at this shit. This is me running full tilt speed. It's loud, and I move at a crawl. Like, anybody can tap me in the head, and I'm nothing. It's ridiculous. She's still high value. If you like playing Sage, don't stop playing Sage. She's still good. She's still a great staller. She still heals. Now you're incentivized to be less of a dick about the heals. You're not going to use them on yourself. You're not a battle sage. She was on par with a duelist. She was essentially a duelist. She's not a duelist. She is a sentinel. What is it fucking called? You can't even remember. Yeah, she's a sentinel. That's what it says on her. She is a staller. That's how Riot designed her. We just didn't go. They just didn't realize that this way they developed her pushed her away from a Sentinel. So they had to adjust it to get her to the original design intent. Sorry that some people who liked the way she played before, their jimmies are going to be a little rustled, all right? It's not that bad. Get over it. She's still good. You want to play Sage? Just fucking play Sage, okay? It's not a problem. No one's going to maul at you if you want to play Sage, okay? No one's going to be upset, and you shouldn't be upset either. Like, just play her. She's still good. And if you disagree, fuck you. Fight me.